So we'll be taking a look and reviewing how the oil and gas sector fared for this week with Dolapo Oni, who is the head of energy research at Ecobank. We're hoping to have him join us on the program in just a bit, but quite a number of issues came up as at now we have oil prices still hovering around $55, $56 per barrel, still looking very good as most of the oil producing countries keep themselves in check and abide by the OPEC's decision to reduce output by 1.2 million barrels per day at its meeting last year in Austria, Vienna. Also, we'll be taking a look at the 2016 review and 2017 outlook for Nigeria's downstream oil sector. That's a report that just came out from Ecobank and the energy research department, focusing on the Nigeria's downstream oil industry. So let's get all of this into perspective. Dolapo Oni, who is the head of energy research, joins me now on the program. Dolapo, good morning to you.
Good morning, Harriet, and thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on the show. So talk to us a little bit about what largely shaped the oil and gas industry this week. Let's start from the domestic front and then we'll go global.
Okay, cool. So I'm not sure I heard your last comment.
Let's talk a little bit about what shaped the oil and gas industry. Let's start local and then we'll go global. What would you say actually was the leading headline for the oil and gas industry this week here in Nigeria?
Okay, I think one major thing that we started to see recently and especially last week was there's been a series of meetings between the fuel marketers and the government because there were some issues around supply of products. And part of what caused that was because the marketers were being owed certain amounts of money. And I believe eventually the government decided to pay that. So, and we believe 150 billion naira was released for that. Another 66 billion is expected to still be paid. And this is really as a result of outstanding subsidies that have been carried over for years, interest amount on those subsidies, and then foreign exchange differentials as well. So all these have made up a large amount, which made the marketers a bit uneasy because they couldn't even get loans from their banks as a result. But the clearance and payment of that should enable, more supply of various products into the market.
It seems to be a continuation of what was highlighted in Ecobank's recent report on Nigeria's downstream oil sector, talking about 2016, how that was the year when the Petroleum Product Pricing and Regulatory Agency partially deregulated the market, reducing its controlled pricing of the premium motor spirit, what we know as petrol. And that still also ties in with this issue of subsidy. A lot of people say it seems as if one day one trouble when it comes to petroleum subsidy. We know that the federal government does not pay subsidy, but why do we always keep having that crop up into the news?
You see, the problem is we still haven't dealt fully with this issue. And I believe the issue of subsidy will never really go away until we fully deregulate the market. Because, again, we still have some outstanding payments that, due to either problems with calculating them or problems with ascertaining the true volumes that were brought in back then, which we're still going through, calculating and all that, we've not been able to fully pay off all the outstanding amounts. So that's something that keeps coming up. And for some of these marketers, it's important that they get those monies because, they borrowed money from the banks to get those, cargoes in. So it's going to be a bit of a recurring trend. And anytime, again, we have this volatility we have in oil prices and in the exchange rate, especially the domestic currency, we'll still have gaps which the regulated price will be quite slow to adjust to, giving room for some sort of subsidy. So we need to either fully deregulate the market if we're going to see subsidies totally disappear from discussion, or we're just going to have to live with it.
Now, for most of 2016, the inability of marketers to source the products independently resulted in the NNPC being largely responsible for over about 90% of products imported. Are we still going to see that play out again in 2017?
Okay, and I think the NNPC is already trying to take some steps towards that because, they've held a couple of special auctions, trying to see if they can get dollars to the companies so that they can import more themselves. But to be very sincere, probably easier for the NNPC to do all the imports because they have access to FX. And it's not a case of looking for an exchange rate. The only thing they need an exchange rate for is so that they can then calculate price. But unlike the marketers who actually have to get Naira from their banks, buy FX from CBN, and then import, complicated process. So I think in 2017, it's still likely to be the norm. We're still likely to see NNPC do the bulk of imports. The marketers maybe gradually increase their share as FX situation improves, but if it doesn't improve, then NNPC will still be the major supplier, especially for petrol or gasoline and kerosene.
All right, there was this report, there's been this report in the dailies about Nigeria's oil rig count dropping by as much as 32%. Talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah, the thing is, if you look at the oil and gas industry, the rig count is usually a very strong signal of the level of activity in the market. Even if when after you have developed the field, they are constantly drilling new wells to, increase level of production or even sustain the level of production. They are building sidetrack wells and all that. So it's a very strong indicator of how much activity is going on in the sector. And for Nigeria, it's been on a negative trend for about 3 years now. In 2014, we had an average of about 34 weeks. And in 2015, we had an average of about 30 weeks. And then last year, it fell to another 25. And if we're looking at what we are seeing currently in the market, I'm not sure we have up to I think we only have about 10 or 11 rigs currently functional as for this February in the country. So it's clearly an indication that the market is not really, or that there's no real activity going on, except for the fields that are already producing. Nobody's really taking any new FID or yet, especially. But, we are quite positive that will reverse because with the new arrangements for the JV cash call exit, the IOCs will have to take FID so that they can bring on the new fields that will enable them get their repayment for the cash call, for the arrears that were owed to them. So some of those FIDs will come later in the year, and with that, we may start to see some drilling resume towards the last quarter of the year stroke early next year.
So it seems as if, as I said already, one day, one trouble for the oil and gas sector. But coming into next week, taking a look at how oil prices seem to have steadied, everybody is keeping to the agreement of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. We're seeing oil prices looking pretty good. How do you expect this to, do you think this is going to likely continue into next week, seeing oil prices hovering around $55, $56 per barrel?
Yeah, especially because I think part of what has even helped prices to stabilize this week has been the fact that it became clear that Russia has actually made a cut. For a very long time, we were speculating that would Russia actually take the decision, would they actually make that cut? But yes, it's now clear and it's been confirmed that yes, they've cut about 100 and they are still cutting more. So, the total pledge is to cut 300. So let's see if by the end of February they've done another 100 again or 50 at least.
Isn't that
they are halfway there?
Isn't that being too optimistic, Dolapo?
Not really, but you see, what this would help is around this time we know that it will help to stabilize prices at this 756 range, and it helps. If we're looking at a week horizon, that doesn't say much. I don't think we should expect much shock, except when any major news comes out of America again.
So do you expect to see oil prices crossing maybe to 60 or over $60 per barrel?
No, we would have to see a lot more cuts for that to happen because don't forget, we're still witnessing some shocks from America that are moderating prices. Anytime oil price rises too high, America sells some oil out of its strategic reserves, and that brings the market down a bit, or the dollar strengthens, or we get some positive news around the oil market. In America, shale production or rig counts in America, and that helps, that moderates prices. So for now, we're still in that one step forward, one step backward range. I don't think we'll see $60 oil yet, but again, considering that OPEC wants to make a further cut later in the year, that's when we may start to expect maybe some really high prices.
So how do you think the markets will react to this new threat of the U.S. issuing new sanctions to Iran?
Yeah, again, that will be quite positive for the market, sadly. Sadly for Iran, if the new sanctions actually come and this time, and the EU joins, because the key part of this is, will the EU be joining the US in this sanction? It's not likely they will, because to their mind, or in their view, Iran is keeping to the terms of the agreement they have with them. So if the U.S. alone makes that decision to sanction Iran, I don't think it should have a major impact on the market. It may have some positive impact in terms of higher oil prices, but I don't really think it will be as much as it could be.
All right, Dolapo Oni, Head of Energy Research at Ecobank, thank you so much for joining us on the program and sharing your perspectives. Business Morning continues after now.